thezman.com. April 7th, the end of gynocracy. A decade ago, the Cloud people celebrated the fact that for the first time in history, women were the majority of the workforce. Not only were women the majority of workers, they were the majority of managers. They were also the majority on the college campus. Women have been the majority of college graduates for over a decade and now outnumber men in advanced degrees. It is not unreasonable to say we are now celebrating the first full decade of the gynocracy. Of course, the celebrating is being done from inside closets and under beds as the world hides from the virus. America is not just run by women, it is now run by overprotective school marms. Social distancing is just the latest thing in a world now run by childless women. Online, the harpies have been demanding males with wrong ideas be social distanced right off the internet. The great purging of dissident voices from social media was a dry run for social distancing. If you think about it, the timeout has now become the go-to move from the gynocrats in charge of our culture. If you use the wrong word or phrase on social media, you get put in timeout for 12 hours. If you repeat the error, you end up in detention. Since the gynocrats have replaced the parents, there's no parent conference for those who can't conform to the rules. Instead, you are relegated to the trailers out back, which for the internet means setting up an account on Gab or Telegram. This is just one reality of the world run by women. Since women have come to dominate the workplace, the fastest growing parts of the economy are those where women have the dominant position. For example, while STEM jobs get outsourced to barbarians, either imported from tribal areas or through outsourcing, healthcare, which is dominated by women, has been booming. Tech workers have seen declining wages, but registered nurses have seen their wages grow. Of course, the feminization of society has been hardest on the working classes, such as the jobs for working class men are replaced by jobs for women. The rise in death from despondency has been acute among working class males. A man with no way to support a family, relegated to living off a woman, has no reason to live. Inevitably, drugs, alcohol, and eventually suicide become the answer. The white death that has afflicted our people is not all that different from what happened to the Indians. The middle-class males have not escaped the ravages of the gynocracy. We're on to at least the second generation of middle-class males raised by women in a female-dominated society. The process began with the liberalization of divorce, which spread through the middle class like a plague in the 1970s and 80s. By the 1990s, the feminization of American life was well underway. We're on to our second generation of young middle-class males raised to live in the gynocracy. You see it in marriage and dating. With scrambled sex roles, males are ill-equipped to play their role, so they are less marriage-worthy to females. On the other hand, men instinctively suspect a career woman will be a poor mother and mate. The subsequent drop in marriage and fertility is hardly a surprise. For the young men in the gynocracy, life is a bachelor's ball online, punctuated by mock battles in video games and mock intimacy in the form of pornography. As an aside, this is why someone like Richard Spencer was so appealing to young men in the alt-right days. He is the non plus ultra of gynocritic male. He is reckless, feckless, and irresponsible, but immune to the consequences. Mom is always there to make everything better. He is the perpetual adolescent, unable to care for himself, but always in a rhetorical revolt against the gynocracy. As a result, many young middle-class white males saw him as the ultimate expression of themselves. For young women, the gynocracy offers a short-term elixir of a career, independence, and power over her personal life. By middle age, the elixir wears off, and it means a lifetime of lonely nights, being an online harpy or one-night stand. Many women escape the clutches of feminism to marry and have children, but in the gynocracy, it still means a career because they have to support the husband and family. They get to pay the price for upper middle class women feeling empowered. Of course, feminism has been hard hit by the rise of the gynocracy. The purpose of feminism for close to a century was to give homely women a reason to feel good about themselves. In a world where women are made hideous on the inside by the pointlessness of their existence, but given power over society, feminism has had to find a new audience. In the gynocracy, feminism is now the domain for those born insane, rather than those driven mad by the prevailing reality. That may be the light at the end of the tunnel. Increasingly, women are seeing the disaster that is modern life for what it is. The slow flowering of traditional women living life as traditional wives and mothers is a little green shoot. Despite the bellowing from the media, Trump remains quite popular with married women. The contempt in which these women are held by the gynocrats suggests that this is the Achilles heel. The end of the gynocracy is single women seeing a mom playing with her kids. On the other hand, Aristophanes was surely right. Practical reality will break the gynocracy on the wheel of reality. The great lockdown is madness that will eventually force great changes. This hysterical response to the virus will force a lot of rethinking about practical matters, like the habit of outsourcing manufacturing to China and outsourcing child rearing to the state. This is what we may be witnessing in this great panic over the virus. It is the beginning of the end of the gynocracy.